G'day. It's your Dick Dastardly Dungeon Master, Zacho Moore. Just jumping in to tell you that we're taking a bit of a break from the campaign. Rachel and Joel are in Chicago doing cool improv stuff. And in the meantime, we're just going to be pumping out some RPG horror stories for you. We're going to be getting those bad boys in your feed every week. So actually, you're going to get more content, not less. And that'll give me some time to prepare for the next arc. And yeah, I mean, we've already recorded some of these episodes, and they are just so much fun. So I hope you enjoy them. Hopefully you enjoy getting more regular content, even if it isn't the main campaign. And I look forward to that third arc coming in hot in a couple months' time. All right. Enjoy this episode.
Yeah.
They got their badunkadunk.
Yeah, they got that fluff waddle.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm never ready.
Hello and welcome to RPG Horror Stories with friggin' Zacho, the Dick Dastardly DM.
You're not allowed to
it's
do that
not.
here.
Fine.
That's not allowed.
Yeah, keep that for the
That's
main
actually
feed.
reserved.
We Torben's still on death's door, so we got Tom, Rachel, and
wasting
Joel
away.
on the horns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been poisoning him.
He's withering.
He's withering. Wait, what's this RPG Horror Story? My DM is poisoning my. Okay, we can skip that one.
Not by Torben.
But
What a weird name for a user.
I wanna open up with a. This is actually not from RPG Horror Stories this far, son. This one is just from RD&D, but I thought it would fit, and it's a funny post. So this
Throwing
one,
us a curveball. I don't know what to do.
yeah, you guys are gonna freak out when you see this crazy shit.
Oh, he's showing it to us now.
It's freaking porn. This
Is that how you react to sexual stimulation?
It's exciting. Right? Also, I couldn't read that. It's all the way over there. Come on.
this post is titled "Bad Homebrew Rules. What's the worst you've seen?"
Ooh.
And so I thought that was fun. We could just go through a bunch of bad homebrew rules.
Oh, I heard that as bad homebrew rules.
It does.
Yeah, so I was okay.
So good.
I'm on track now. Yep.
The person who wrote this post gives a few, but I think that this one is pretty funny. You have to roll a d6 to determine your movement every round. So a square for each one. So everybody's just moving at a snail's pace around the board. Nobody can get to anybody.
I like that for the concept of a real tabletop, like a fully kitted out one with miniatures.
No, but
and
when you have miniatures, you move. So you the everybody's the base movement is 30 feet. And that's
One
like
square.
6 squares.
Oh,
Yeah,
So-
5 feet per square.
Yeah. So if you imagine you're like 6 squares, and maybe you might have to take a dash action often to get across to somebody. So that's use your full turn to move. That's 60 feet. If you were rolling a d6, it could potentially take round after round just to get to, because that's always that's honestly one of the most frustrating parts of combat when you are playing over the tabletop. Sometimes that does happen where the battlefield is spread out. And as a player, it's good because it's like a dynamic battlefield, but sometimes you as a player end up far from where you need to be and you
Really
have to waste
far
a turn
away.
getting to somewhere.
Yeah.
Having to waste 3 or 4 turns doing nothing sounds
do you know what it's giving?
horrendous.
It's giving D&D if it was Dragon Ball Z.
Aren't they zooming around in Dragon Ball Z?
There are episodes where they're just preparing to fight.
Oh,
And they're
I
just
see what you
like,
mean.
Yeah, that's the
and
difference. They're not
training.
moving.
They're not. Yeah, that's it. They're not. And then they have episodes where they're fighting, but the fight is just forever because they're just shit talking each other from some distance away.
That's so funny. I've
my
never
God.
seen Dragon Ball Z, but that sounds insane.
Oh, watch the abridged one.
There's-
Amazing.
Yeah,
Is there
so
any
funny.
mechanisms where you can just power up for several rounds?
Oh, I
There's-
wish that would be so cool.
There's definitely
I don't
yeah.
think there is.
Eyebrows,
I can't think of any off the
eyebrows,
top of my
Zin.
head that's like you have to prepare multiple rounds for. It gets better over multiple rounds. Like there are
Imagine
spells.
Bradicus, like everyone else fight. Bradicus is just gonna be in the back,
Charging up.
charging a
Yeah.
magic missile.
The most
Yeah, like-
insane magic missile.
And with each turn, you're like just pocketing another tactical tic tac in your lip, right?
Yeah.
It's just waiting to drop them all at once so that you can do something crazy. Like, woo! Yeah.
just gain 4 HP.
Getting the
Yay! I'm so high on my 4 HP right now.
Like, okay, fine, dude. We're all dying because the guy.
Wait.
You have magic. You're like really powerful. You're a wizard. Strong class.
One more tic tac and I'll be
kids
ready.
at the skate park. Give me your strength.
I summon you.
Rockets on your skateboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a nightmare homebrew. rule.
That sounds insane. Like having, yeah, just like losing so much movement. I mean, in a game with that rule, any teleportation magic would be golden. Like absolute necessity.
Yeah.
But
Misty Walk.
there's not even
step.
there's not even
Thank you.
logical justification for it, because at first I thought, oh, okay, this is like somebody who's really into like strategic like video games or something. But no, because you have a set
yeah.
amount that you can
There's-
you
You
can
lose
move.
the strategy. You
So-
can't pre-plan.
Where's the logic in
There's-
this? Like your character
Just torture.
time to time is like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm good. Oh, I'm tired.
Yeah, I literally cannot think of a generous read for this. Like, I can't think of how this could make sense.
I think of the one idea that I had is maybe it's like add an element of randomness to D&D combat that doesn't normally exist.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a lie. You're rolling dice all the time. But,
Yeah, it is always gambling.
yeah, but like I guess it's trying to make it seem like the combat's unreliable. I imagine a real world brawl would be hectic and
Yeah.
unpredictable.
Everybody's
Oh, do you
running
remember that
random
business?
amounts of distance around the bar.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking like
I'm trying to fight you, but all the way over here.
maybe it's like yeah, fuck, I don't know.
It's
man.
so crazy.
It's a
What-
bad rule.
So
What's an example?
moving on to
Oh, I was going to say, what's an example of a homebrew rule that you've implemented?
that I've implemented.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I lost. Oh, yes, opportunity attacks with Nat 1.
Yes.
That's right. That's a classic homebrew rule.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I just we've used that for so long. I just thought
Yeah.
it was like just a normal rule.
no.
at one point.
Oh, I mean, I don't think it is. I don't
no,
think it
it's
is.
it's not.
But yeah, that's one that we use all the time. Is if someone rolls a Nat 1, you get an opportunity attack against them. I picked that one up from a really old game from Heroes Quest.
Oh my
'Cause
god,
that's how it
Heroes
works in
Quest.
Heroes Quest.
It's an amazing game.
And yeah, that's a classic homebrew rule that we've been using. One that I mean, D&D combat is such a weird thing. It's like a combination of really complicated and also like really difficult to do, like make it interesting. You need to find really unique ways to do combat for it to be kind of an engaging event, because it loses a lot of its engagement after like 2 or 3 rounds of combat.
I think that every combat should be homebrewed in the sense that you're creating like dynamic set pieces.
Yeah.
Like in the sense that you're just like prepping interesting stuff, but also like minimal, like maybe don't fuck with the balance of the game too much.
Yeah.
Like,
Because you still want to move the narrative on, but with consequences based on the outcome of the fight, right?
Yeah.
here's another homebrew rule. Speaking during combat is your action.
Oh yeah, no, I've
That's
heard
annoying.
about these ones.
Does that include casting something? Because that's speaking. Huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like
Well,
casting
that-
a spell generally does involve like some kind of speaking component, but you wouldn't be able to like say communicate with a party member as
Yeah.
a spell.
It's the
Unless the
kind
spell allows that.
It's the kind of thing where it's like I kind of understand that. That's one that does make more sense in terms of like the rules as written element of like combat taking place within like 6 seconds or whatever.
Also, like a
But-
logical thing. Like if you're in the middle of a fight, you're not normally communicating exactly what's going on all the time. If you're like engaged in an epic sword duel.
Yeah. But for performance and roleplay,
and
truly
also just
terrible.
hanging out with your friends.
Yeah, just for the fun, terrible.
Being not allowed to communicate with your friends at the table seems kind of rough.
I imagine there's a lot of people, or there's at least a good number of DMs who maybe are not good DMs, but who want to like want combat to be very realistic in the sense like you have military style simulation
Maneuvers?
shooters as opposed to like a Call of Duty.
American.
No.
That's
did
what
that come out?
D&D started out like that. There was originally like a war game, like closer to Warhammer.
When people were doing D&D, as a little fun little history lesson for you,
I'm listening.
is, you know, when D&D was getting really popular, people would amass huge amounts of miniatures for like all of their D&D games, but you'd only use like 2 or 3 miniatures at a time, maybe tops 10 on the board. And so Warhammer came about because people were like, well, I want a game where I get to use all of these. I want to use every miniature I have in one like giant fight.
yeah.
And Warhammer was a rule system to do that using your D&D models,
I
and it was
spent
really successful.
2 weeks painting this one fucking thing. I want to use it.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's how like Warhammer came about, and then it was really popular, and they're like, fuck it, we'll just turn it into a proper game, its own thing.
Yeah, because my understanding is that it did kind of go like up and down, because I believe that Gary Gygax was really into like World War II miniature
God, what a
stuff.
nerd.
Yeah, yeah. And then it was the other guy, I think, who started to like bring in the idea of like the like fantasy and like more like storytelling stuff. That kind of explains why the Tomb of Horrors is such a brutal grind.
Yeah, such a goddamn grind.
Do kind of enjoy the visual of something happening en masse. Like, imagine if we had a whole bunch of miniatures of sunflowers and skeletons.
Imagine if we had one miniature.
We
don't have the budget.
Don't go that far.
Yeah, we cannot afford it.
Going back to the like
We'll get some plasticine,
realism
whatever. We
thing,
can make it
though.
happen. Yeah.
I think you are right. Like a lot of these homebrew rules seem to be a way to make combat this realistic thing. Because some of the homebrew stuff that I've looked at, like when I was trying to think of interesting ways to spice up a D&D combat, are like, they all seem to be along that line of trying to make the combat a little bit more realistic, like getting everyone to plan what they're going to do on their turn at the same time, and then all the turns are essentially executed at the same time. So it's not like a turn order where one person goes, then the next, then the next, then the next. It's like one massive thing, and you kind of have to predict what the enemy are going to do rather than being able to actually react to it.
Right,
I do
right.
kind of like that, just for the added chaos.
If I was going to mess around with D&D, I think that's one of the few things I would put in place. I really like that rule. I don't know if I would use it as like a constant combat mechanic, but I think you could make some really fun combats with like an instantaneous turn as opposed to like a phased turn.
The most obvious ones from, and maybe they're in it, I don't know, but would be flanking and high ground, low ground. There would
Flanking
be like,
was in older editions.
It's actually,
of,
I think, in the
D&D.
optional rules for D&D.
Oh,
I think
really?
in the Dungeon Master's
Oh,
Guide,
true,
there are,
yeah.
and higher and lower elevations as well. I think there are attack bonuses you can get for being higher up. But yeah, I think there are optional combat rules for flanking and elevation.
I had questions. I was thinking,
I was so confused for a second.
A little
the higher
Revenge
up
of the Sith reference.
I was thinking, I mean, you were kind of higher up on your skateboard that time.
That's true. I should get a permanent attack buff.
Let's
If you're
re-record
levitating.
all the episodes.
Yeah, start again.
Yeah, let's not go that far. Gee.
No, I think he's right. We should start
Okay.
again.
I got another one here. I had a DM that I think in order to make combat more fun for our barbarian who was new, said any attack roll over 20 was a crit, which is insane.
Whoa.
Wild. That's really strong. But you could get a wild combat from that.
Yeah.
Like being able
We've
to...
rolled stuff. We've rolled like a 27 or something.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
it's once
really
you get to
easy.
yeah, rolling above 20 is super easy once you get to a certain level. Like
Well, even
Oh,
at
yeah.
lower levels, just like a +5
Yeah.
means that it's a 1 in 4 chance
yeah.
to get above a 20. So
Yes, this person's just dealing double damage most.
Yeah,
Boom, boom.
that's so strong.
So crazy. I mean, that would be awesome. If I was the barbarian.
It kind of makes it a if that kind of applies to everyone, that would make it kind of like what are they called? There's a couple gaming systems that are like, I think they're just called brutal systems because they're like designed where one hit will kill you, like very realistic.
Oh, yeah.
KO.
Yeah,
I have
like a lot of like detective noir, like Call of Cthulhu is a brutal
Yeah.
system. Like if you get shot with a gun, you just die. Like you don't lose any hit points or anything. You're just like, yeah, you've got a
Bye.
bullet wound.
And it's fatal. Fatal. Can you, as an NPC, be a barbarian?
As an NPC?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like the, like
Theoretically,
a
right?
Which
barbarian.
NPC are you?
You could be a hot barbarian.
I would be a hot barbarian, yeah.
Conan.
Well, I mean, like, barbarian is, broader than just like the class rule set of the, there could be characters that are barbarians,
Huh?
Huh?
Go
You mean
on.
like a
No.
barbarian merchant?
Yeah. Like a hot barbarian merchant.
Checks out.
Let's finish
Selling horses or something.
Let's one more
Intimidating their customers.
Yeah.
one more homebrew rule before we move on
Oh, I
to
just wanted to say on that
Oh, yeah?
last one, that does feel like it could be quite fun if it was like enemy encounters were built in like a Dynasty Warriors way, where it's like you're just throwing hordes of people
Yeah.
and just smashing through hundreds.
Just like
Oh,
cleaving through
That's
people.
that's a homebrew rule that's in NADPOD and
Cleave?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
cleave, which is I think a great way to because you often
It's a great home rule.
it's a really simple one where and I think I might have mentioned it on the probably not because you guys are quite low level, but it's like if you are fighting against scrubs, then you do like carryover damage. So like you can do damage from one person to another person. So you could
Yeah.
like cut through like two goblins at once. If you do
Oh,
lots
I
of
like
damage.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, as the fighter in our party.
Yeah,
It's
carryover
cool.
damage is good.
One of my favorite things in like like long running serialized media and like also in like I feel like it's one of my favorite things about D&D as well is like the getting to see a real obvious power curve where like session 1 the characters are like getting their asses kicked by goblins and then in a later session there's a scene where you're just wrecking house like taking out like 30 goblins with like area effect spells and like fighting a god and it's like those characters they got stronger.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I can see what you can do there. TPK.
Yeah.
yeah. And the final homebrew rule that I think is a little interesting. I'm interested to see what you guys think about this one. If you die in the game, you die in real life.
You
pretty
know what?
sick.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
like that. Well, you know how we were talking last
Brilliant.
episode about like
can't remember.
lethality. Oh no,
It was
wait.
so long ago, I can't remember.
I lost my train of thought immediately.
Lethality.
We're talking about lethality.
With the TPK,
yeah, something like
talking
that.
about the TPK.
No.
Moving on.
I like that rule because it adds a little bit of stakes to
Yeah.
playing, but also I'm never gonna die.
True.
So also I'm going in gaming the system. Going, well, I know this isn't for me.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, you know. Well, it's I think of it as like you're never gonna die, so you've got to introduce a method of your doom, your demise
Yeah.
into your life, and that method is through D&D, which will and has killed people.
Listen, I'm just
Well, so-
appreciating the creative thinking that is enabling people to play D&D on a warfield, battlefield.
battlefield.
Yeah, you're in a war zone. You're in your kit or your armor and stuff. You're about to go out, and you're like, well, I lost that one, guys, so I won't
then
wear my
that
helmet. Off I go. Yeah.
Self-imposed
Yeah,
rule.
I'll
then.
show them.
It's the Russian roulette of D&D.
Resign to your fate. My character lost. I'm just gonna walk into the battlefield unarmed.
Yeah.
They didn't give me the item that I should have got,
I was meant to be party leader.
so I'm out of here. You can finish doing what you're doing in the bathroom now. That's
You
from
may
a different
continue your
episode.
Yeah.
Okay, this next post comes from Red Hot Owl. We're back to horror stories. This one is titled "GM isn't a fan of short kings." I guess.
This is so passive aggressive already.
So passive aggressive.
Oh, I'm ready.
This one's also a little long, so I might chop it down a little bit as I read. But here we go. Consider this story a little palate cleanser from some of the truly horrific ones I've read on here recently.
A palate cleanser.
That means it's a different tone.
As most of you, I've been regularly no-lifing Baldur's Gate 3 ever since it came out in early access, and it sparked my interest in joining an actual D&D session. I figured that it would do me good to broaden my social circle a little bit as well, since I've pretty much been talking to the same couple of people for the past 3 to 4 years. Now, for someone like me with chronic anxiety issues, putting myself out there and actively looking for a group is already a huge step out of my comfort zone, coupled with the fact that while I'm pretty confident in my storytelling abilities, I'm still pretty green when it comes to the game mechanics. So I think this is going to go well.
Reasonable
It's
so far.
it's
This
pretty
seems
reasonable.
He's putting himself out there.
This
He's
is
looking
relatable.
for a D&D group and hoping to expand his social circle. This can
Yeah.
only go well. What subreddit were we on again?
On chill, everything goes well.
yeah.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Our
good.
chill.
RPGs.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where we just read wholesome stories about people finding a D&D group that they love.
Aw.
With session 0 scheduled for the upcoming weekend, my GM just asked that I pick a race. Gave me a list
Hot.
of the still
Hot.
Goblin.
They
Is
gave.
hot an option?
I'm not sure, but I feel like this DM is not a chat, so probably not. The GM gave me a list of the still available classes and told me to come up with the backstory. Since it's my first time, I decided not to overthink it and went with a Halfling Ranger. It's
Classic.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great combination. It's fun.
Class.
It's
unique.
giving tennis.
Yeah. Frodus Baggins.
In chat, everyone was talking about how excited they were for the weekend and discussing their characters. Most seemed to be playing some variation of an elf or some other conventionally attractive race.
Here we go. Here we go. It's all about fuckability. We were just saying.
It really is.
The reason why that's relevant is because when the GM asked me what I'll be playing, the reaction I got was completely different. Basically, something along the lines of, a halfling? Ew, why? They're ugly as hell. Sorry, fugly as hell.
Oh, yeah. Sure, I don't know what I heard, but it wasn't a halfling. So.
I already know what whether this guy fucks or not.
I think the answer to the subject of this is yes. I'm not a fan of
think
short
he does.
kings.
Yeah, it seems like this guy doesn't like short kings. Things just got awkward after that.
And I decided to play a gnome instead.
Yeah, because as a
So,
DM, he
yeah.
only wants to DM characters that he would fuck.
Tall and hot.
Yeah.
It raises questions.
Yeah, it
For
does
sure.
raise questions. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm not gay for that. Change it.
Listen, I'm conflicted here because on one hand, I'm all for, all of the characters and non-player characters in a world being hot.
Yeah.
But
Yes, we know.
And
but-
everyone knows halflings are not hot.
well, I mean, that's where I disagree, brother. I think halflings are hot as hell. You seen those grippers, dude?
Oh my
You seen
God.
Bilbo's friggin' dogs?
Woof woof.
They're hot as hell. They're massive.
Feet are in.
Yeah.
So
They're trending.
Feet are trending on Google Trends.
unlike
God, I hope
unlike
not.
cats and Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they fell off. I don't know if that was recorded, so the audience won't have context for that at all.
It probably was.
can I ask though, okay, so halflings are
Sure.
short, but is there anything in the canonical description of them around them being unattractive?
Well, like Martin Freeman's pretty hot.
He certainly is.
So, you know, and that's canonical.
Yeah, but it's not like, I don't know, like orcs or whatever, where you're like, okay, yeah, like, they're maybe written or depicted in a way which is clearly unattractive.
Yeah,
No,
are D&D
halflings-
halflings pretty much hobbits with hairy feet? Same
Halflings
such.
and hobbits are just the same thing.
Oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, they're called
is this guy
halflings
just,
in
he's
Lord
just
of
not
Rings as well.
attracted?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just not attracted to hairy feet, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, it does say
Height,
in the
regardless.
player's handbook that hobbits halflings are fugly.
Yeah,
so
it does
It
say
does?
fugly in
It
the
does.
player's
Really
handbook.
does
There
say
you go.
fugly.
Wow.
So,
It does have a whole chapter for
technical-
this.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
extensive.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
There's not even like any class abilities or
Canon.
description or anything. It
No.
just says
No, it's just-
It's
too
just a
fugly.
huge rant, like a 1-sentence rant that runs for the entire page. Nothing
No
like
punctuation.
Gnomes fine.
Yeah, gnomes are hot.
Gnomes are hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, dwarves fine.
Dwarves are really hot.
Goblins have
And
a
the
moment.
art is just
Goblins.
pixelated
So
out
hot.
of the
Yeah, redacted.
No, just the feet pixelated.
and the caption just says "ooh."
You
This
don't
is
even
like
want to know.
R18. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? You think
This
this guy?
right.
You think he fucks?
Yeah, hobbits are fugly.
Yeah.
They're weird. Don't like them. Gnomes are funny.
Yeah, gnomes are
Halflings,
awesome.
yeah, they're weird.
We
No.
haven't met
I
gnomes
think
yet.
the DM does not fuck because I think that's why they're trying to build this harem because they're just looking for more opportunities
Yeah.
to fuck
Yeah.
and very high standards.
Oh, right. This is
Yeah.
a way for them to fuck.
Yeah, it's
but
like
they've not yet fucked.
it's like Jack
Yeah.
Black in Shallow Hell before he became unshallow.
Right. Yeah. I get it.
Good
Yeah.
reference to a very popular film.
I love
So-
Jack Black in Jumanji. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So, like, this DM, he's just collecting players for a campaign. Our
Hot
guy
characters.
is
Yeah.
reaching out to expand his social circle. He doesn't know these people, right? His introduction to them is halfling. And the DM's like, what even are you?
Yeah, I think
What
it's-
even are you if this is
it's-
your character who's a direct reflection of you as a real person? Ew.
It's
I
on
gave you the
him to-
options and you failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on him that he chose a fugly class.
Yeah, I
race,
mean-
so like,
That's just like D&D 101.
yeah,
Like that's not. I don't understand because like he said he got into it through playing Baldur's Gate, but that's
Yeah.
you can't play. Like it doesn't let you.
Yeah, you
have
gotta
to-
be hot
You have
in
to
that.
install like illegal mods from the dark web to play a halfling in Baldur's Gate.
yeah.
I mean, the rule number one of D&D is if the DM gives you a choice, there is a correct answer.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Yeah,
If you're not looking for
It's-
the ulterior motive behind everything that the DM gives you, you're fucking up.
it's a pass or fail test. I also I think that this person definitely on their Tinder profile they say like must be over, like 8 feet because they're like
Yeah.
only into Goliaths or something.
Yeah.
Feet must be shaved.
Yeah, shaved feet.
Freshly waxed only.
Yeah.
I think we've got a
Hit that
mix of
near
Baby
up on the-
dolphins.
fucks and don't fucks.
I'm gonna say I do think they fuck.
Yeah.
I don't think that necessarily makes them a good person, but I do think they fuck.
I think they fuck people only their height or taller.
Yeah, but that does mean that they fuck. Then.
See, I disagree. I think if you fuck, you're automatically a good person. That's the way the world
That's fair, actually.
Yeah, well, yeah. In that case, I do think they're a good person.
works. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Turned you around.
So that's
Debate
three.
skills.
That's 3 fucks
Three
and 1
fucks.
does not fuck.
Yeah.
One no fucks.
1 no fucks. I'm so sorry, I got my terminology wrong.
Well, I was going to say 0 fucks, and it probably would have been exactly what I meant to say. What do you got for us?
So this next one is a table dispute. So this person's looking for advice here.
Okay, we got it.
That's
We can give advice.
This one's titled, and again, it's leading us in a particular direction. But
It's biased, maybe.
this one is titled, "My player says I've nerfed his character by having him play it right." So I
We'll be the judge of that.
Let's hold on. Let's see who the protagonist and antagonist of this is.
That's right.
We'll be the judge
we'll
of
see.
this.
So I've been running a homebrew campaign for my 7 friends. One of my friends is playing a gunslinger fighter. To give more background information, his character has been cursed by a hag. However, since the hag feels like it has uses for him, she gives him power in return. So I've given... Yeah, and a gun and a friggin' Glock. Imagine a witch just pops out of
AK-47
fog.
now.
I give you a blessing and this gun.
Take my curse. you
You've
And
been
my
cursed with
God.
Smith and Wesson.
Yes. I curse you to do a John Wick.
Ooh.
In
From
Baba
the coven
Yaga.
of Lockheed and Martin.
Which one's she? Is she Lockheed or Martin?
Yeah, of the sisters duo.
Yeah, the twins. The swamp twins. Lockheed and Martin.
So it seems like his packed weapon is a gun. I guess he summons like a cool. It's kind of badass.
I like it, but it just sounds very funny.
It's pretty rad. It's very. You know what it is?
Power of God.
It's very Hellboy.
Yeah.
It's like a demon with a friggin'.
I cast a bullet on you.
I really want to play a gunslinger in like a really firmly medieval world where I'm just a peasant in every way, but just like has
governor.
like a revolver.
I've noticed that he was playing it wrong, but it was in a minor part of the story, and I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the game since there is 7 total players, and gameplay can be slowed down a lot in combat. He was giving himself grip points back whenever he killed someone. Okay, so as somebody who's played a gunslinger, that breaks the class immediately. But oh, go on. Whether they were knocked unconscious or hostile. Before a more complicated fight with an elder brain, I've told him about how he was playing his subclass wrong. That the DM decides whether or not he gains a grip point back for killing a target, since it says killing blow to a significant threat can give back a grip point. I've told him killing something you can do in one hit does not count as significant, nor killing weak minions. He's been complaining about it for 2 months now.
Oh my God.
But today we blew up in an argument that got somewhat heated. He claimed I was nerfing him and said I was targeting him because he was the main DPS of the group. I've argued I didn't nerf him and only asked him to play it correctly. He argued that I should tell him what target could give him a grip point back, which I also replied, it changes on situation. Am I in the wrong because I allowed him to play it incorrectly for a period of time without correcting it? And there are some updates, but I feel like there's a fair bit of information there. I see no problem. Like, the gunslinger is already as a class that was built by Matt Mercer, and it's pretty strong, especially if you give them the
Classic homebrew.
Yeah, like it's not like super broken, but you can break it easily, and you can also some of the strong guns are like very strong, and the way that the class uses grip points to do abilities is like the main thing that makes it's like spells. It's like getting a spell slot back every time you kill someone.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it sounds unfortunate, I guess, that the ruling is so ambiguous.
Well,
because saying like you get it back for killing a significant threat.
Whose perspective?
Well, I mean,
It's
it's
supposed to
always going to
be-
be the DM, but
Yeah.
even then,
Yeah.
like the DM. Yeah, like we've seen in other RPG horror stories, the DM might not always have the party's interests in mind.
That's true. You are kind of
true.
trusting your DM. I think the way that it's been ruled, that I've seen it ruled, is kind of like if
boss
they're a
or
named
mini-boss.
character.
Oh,
if they're like a boss or like a, or maybe a mini boss.
So you just learn the name of the local innkeeper, just take him out back and put a bullet through his head.
Problem solved. You got yourself a
threat.
freaking loophole.
Just carry named hobos around with you. Just Just for every combat you're just about to get into.
Hold up. I gotta execute another random townsperson.
Sacrificed.
I'm gonna say that I side with the player on this one for the reason, because if you imagine that this was a video game that was out, right? The rule sets are in place. You've been playing it for a while, and then the devs push out a new patch. People go say, "Yo, you nerf my character," and people would be like, "That's fair." Now, it might have been the right call to nerf it.
Yeah.
Although you also hear people say, "Well, you don't nerf the characters, but just push everything else back up, make everything else stronger."
Give them grit points.
Yeah,
Everyone points. Good points for you. Good points for you.
I will say, like, it would be. It might be a little demoralizing for the other players if this gunslinger is just wrecking absolute
like winning
houses.
every fight.
Just so much stronger.
I think
the DM fucked up.
Yeah, I think you're right, Joel.
Yeah.
I think it is a nerf because the DM allowed him to use the class in a broken way for a period of time.
Yeah, he
and
should
then
have had it
chose
straight
him
away.
and told him he can't use that in that way, even though that
would
is the
be-
right way to use it.
Yeah.
It has actually affected the way the character was played.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, you're right. I think this character has been nerfed, but they've just been taken from a broken level back to where they're meant to be.
You can't give people a taste of the sweet stuff.
Yeah, I know.
No, you can't take it away.
I think the DM slipped up a little bit.
One of the comments, which I think is a decent suggestion,
You
they
reading
say,
the goddamn comments?
I'm
That
reading
was
the
our
goddamn-
advice not good enough.
well, I just thought I would
I'll
posit
accept the
this.
top comment or nothing.
I would posit this as an option. They've suggested setting a challenge rating threshold for what is considered a significant threat. So
I would add maybe another possibility. Instead of putting a challenge rating threshold, which is great, maybe even just like a limit of how many you could get back each combat.
oh yeah, like one per combat,
Yeah, one or two per combat.
So you have to choose when.
yeah,
Yeah,
when
that
you
checks
when
out.
you kill
'Cause
an
the-
enemy, you
'cause-
can make that choice.
There are other ways to get grit points back as well. Like you get a grit point back on a crit,
right.
and I think some other way, like you get them back. Like killing a significant threat, I think is the way the least likely way to get them back.
Right. Okay. Yes, I would impose like some kind of limit of one per fight.
I think that's probably a good idea.
Or I mean, the challenge rating one is great as well, but you would have to keep increasing it over the levels.
Yeah, it would have to
as they get
change.
better. Those
Yeah.
enemies are going to become more common.
Yeah.
See, now I've got a solution. And as a DM, here's my advice for
hell yeah.
burgeoning DMs out there.
Yeah.
If this ever happens to
Enlighten
you, or anything else where you may have forgotten a rule.
This goes
You-
outside of D&D.
Yeah,
this is general life
Ooh.
advice.
Yeah.
This applies to the
This
law.
is the Oracle.
If you're a cop, you can follow this.
Judge
So-
Oracle Joel.
Allow things to come to their natural end of like wherever this campaign beat is or whatever. And then at the end of it, you go, and you all wake up and it was all a dream.
Oh,
and then you just set things back to how you really want them.
That's good. It's all a dream.
And you do
and
it
you wake up.
again because the dream happened before the
Yeah,
adventure.
and you just turn into a Groundhog's Day campaign.
And it's really grueling for everyone involved.
Yeah, make it harder for everyone else. Bring this guy back down to where he should be and punish everyone else too. So he's bitching, but everyone else is too.
This
Fuck
is
you all.
good.
I love that. I think you're like
fresh.
it was all a dream, and then everything's still the same. But when you
Except
kill,
for you and your class
your grip
ability.
points are different. Yeah,
Nobody else, just you, the gunslinger.
And you're not a halfling anymore. You're hot.
yeah, you're really
Yeah,
hot.
you're hot. You're now half elven, Mr. Rogue.
You just change any choices a player makes that you don't like. You just change.
It was all a dream. You actually,
I think it's so funny to be like, it's all a dream. Everything's the same except for your one thing.
That was wrong at the start.
But this isn't enough because it was all a dream.
Let me roll a dice and we'll see what changes there were. Oh, just your character. Oh,
Wow, what a coincidence.
you didn't look at the dice. It doesn't matter.
It's hidden behind the screen.
Yeah.
Lightning round. This guy fucks. Before we move on to one more, try and squeeze in one more.
Who's this guy in
Sorry?
the scenario?
This guy is the
player?
Oh, that's true.
Is this the player being mad that their character got nerfed?
Yeah.
Or the DM
This
for
is the
nerfing?
player who was mad that their character got nerfed.
No fucks.
No, they don't
No
fuck.
fucks.
No fucks.
I don't think
Never.
so.
Not a single fuck.
Never
Nah.
fucked once.
I kind of want to say he fucks.
Really?
Yeah, his character was nerfed and he's mad and he's
listen.
willing to stick to his guns
yeah, that's
and
fair.
argue about it for months.
Yeah, and that's energy he could be putting into fucking.
It's funny because he's.
That's true, actually.
I know that we kind of like cited. We
Maya's dedication.
I do think it's funny because he was wrong. As well. Like he was rules as written, he was wrong. The DM maybe made a mistake, but the player was incorrect. And he argued. What is he arguing? Just that he should be able to play it wrong.
Also, like, the one rule of D&D is that the DM is the final say in anything. Like,
Sure.
the DM, it's called the Dungeon Master's Guide because all the rules are just suggestions.
Yeah. Like the laws in real life.
Like, just like real life.
Oh, yeah.
They can just change them on a dime.
Yeah.
An interesting thought with this, though. If that happened here, and it had gone on for like, a couple of episodes, that feels like a slightly different scenario because you've got an audience who's been listening. And so they're like, well, this is what the
Expecting.
rules are. So how would you deal with that? Would you have to come up with a narrative cause for like fixing things?
Gaslight. Gaslight the audience.
Yeah. I think
As you
gaslighting is
remember,
good.
I mentioned this last time.
Ooh.
Yeah, see? That's a
All
good
right.
gaslight. We'll
One,
be like, when? Did we miss an episode? What?
one last.
It was all a dream.
All a dream.
And your one character is worse now.
One last super quick post. This
Lightning
one's
decision.
just titled "Why Do I Suck?"
Let me tell you.
As
You're
four,
not
as,
hot.
only has,
Halfling.
it only has 4 upvotes.
Okay.
The title. I'm really confused. Every time I've tried to play this game, my brain draws a blank, and those around me, although my English is not their first language like mine, tend to blow me out of the water. I'm genuinely confused. Now, I
All
should...
right.
This
Yeah.
guy absolutely fucks.
Do they all have the same non-English first language and you have a different one? That would be a point.
He's bad at rolling dice, I think.
There's a skill to
here's
it.
a comment. I
Yeah.
think this is
Yeah.
pretty good advice.
Yeah.
I would suggest watching some Scrabble competitions. There are some things that separate the greats from us mortals, but the crucial one for a beginner is a rack of cultivation or leave. All vaguely good players prune and preen their racks to leave themselves with the best letters from making 7-letter words. So that's an interesting comment. I don't.
Yeah. Oh, wild.
Is this meant to be relevant relative to D&D? Are we still in D&D? Where
So
are we now?
I did
Obviously.
accidentally.
This was a metaphor, right?
I don't know. Did you go into Ask Scrabble?
I did accidentally go into Ask Scrabble.
He fucks for sure, though.
But we're honor bound to the podcast to still answer the question.
Yeah.
So why does
cemented
this
my
guy
answer.
suck? He fucks.
He fucks for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if he's sucking, then he's probably fucking. You know, that's what I think.
One can lead to the other.
That is generic foreplay 101.
Yeah,
Foreplay 101. Man, what a class.
all right. Are we all in agreement that this guy
He's got it, right?
Yeah, he's got it.
Bound to.
Yeah.
got it.
He fucks
Nice.
for sure. He's so good at words.
I
Well-
had so many
not.
questions when I thought it was
Yeah, a
D&D thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean? You're like,
just
you're
hasn't-
mad because you speak English?
He's the only one that hasn't read the rules.
Oh, yeah. That could be it.
I can't do well in this game. Everyone else seems like they know how to play.
I'm really confused. Every time I've tried to play this game, my brain draws a blank, and those around me, although English is not their first language, language like mine tend to blow me out of the water. I'm genuinely confused. It's so funny.
The linguistics are too strong.
I send forth my spell. No, that's not what I mean to say.
Guys, she's like, fuck, I keep losing. It's like, no, it's collaborative. I think it's also very funny. It's a funny post on Ask Scrabble because it's funny to picture somebody just getting their ass kicked by people who don't speak English at Scrabble.
I feel like I'm missing out on a whole community of Scrabble, like a top tier Scrabble play.
Scrabble goes deep,
Like,
dude.
what was that? Was that? I suggest you watch the Masters.
Oh yeah, you gotta watch the
that wasn't there.
Masters.
You gotta watch some
got-
top tier play.
You gotta tune into ESPN.
Yeah. I recommend getting
Please
into
no.
betting, Scrabble bets.
Oh my god.
I bet on Scrabble.
I'd roll dice on that.
There must be people who bet on their dice rolls.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah. It's
I
called
do every
craps.
time. I always had lots of money.
We should do a gambling.
Is it a podcast?
We should do a gambling
a
D&D stream.
Yeah, everyone gets like $20 and makes it gold coins, right?
No, it'd be
And
fun
then-
to do like a charity stream actually.
Oh, I like
where
that.
like people are like betting on like our
Charity
rolls.
stream where we enforce gambling.
Yeah.
And we all wear sunglasses around the table.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it checks out.
If there's
This looks
any,
like blackjack.
Cards.
because
Like,
that would make combat a lot more interesting if you could be like all in.
Yeah.
Well, if
I-
there's like some kind of gambling mechanic for combat, that would be
Maybe it's
wild.
I
like-
have
how
actually
much-
been working on a kind of a mechanic like that, but I don't want to reveal it yet. No, I had I have an idea for like a going beyond the physical limit type thing where you could like
Oh my god, we have to run around the city.
you have to run
have to
around the
laugh.
city. Yeah.
Oh man,
Or
that's easy for you to say. Okay, listen.
it's like
Get me a
a
cat suit.
a thing where like in extreme
no.
circumstances, like in a very high stakes fight, you could like go down but like stay up but be like losing death saves and like
Oh.
get like abilities but like you're sacrificing
Right, so you're starting to like gamble with the death saves.
yeah
Even though
yeah
you're still up and fighting.
yeah you're like powering
Powering through some horrific
through
injury.
yeah something like that anyway.
See, that would have been a good addition to that original homebrew that we heard right at the beginning with the movement.
Oh, yeah?
Where it's like, okay, if you choose to put a little bit more juice behind your running, you've got running juice.
Oh yeah.
Every character.
And it's represented by $2 coins.
Yes, and if you want this to be good for you, you've got to make it worth my while as the DM.
You want to get to the other side of the room? You better put in $50.
Yeah, a bribery-based combat system.
Hey, look, guys, it's looking for work. All this being a DM and making my players pay me to roll.
Yeah. God, imagine forcing your players to pay for your DMing. It's kind of crazy.
Ooh. Are you coming full circle to the other ep you ever got, maybe, huh? I think you were. That was a lovely transition.
No idea what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Well,
Anyway, you guys should
let's-
listen to the first couple episodes of this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
Refer to issue 1.
Yeah.
Let's
Get that cool in joke.
let's wrap it up on that beautiful full circle moment. Thank you all for listening, and
Go to a casino, lose all your money.
yeah, that's the moral of this one. That's
The
what we're
moral
taking
of
away.
this, we have a moral for each of these.
Each of these we end with a moral of the story, and this
Oh,
one is
that's it?
Lose
And
your
not
money
be
at the
fuckable.
casino.
yeah, beef. Yeah, you
Yeah,
got to be
don't be
hot.
ugly and
Yeah.
spend your money.
Yeah.
Spend your money. The casinos
Not
need
wisely.
it. They're going under.
Yeah, we got
Support local businesses.
stimulate the
Go to
economy.
casino.
Yeah.
That was a Bass Jump Comedy original. It's cooked.